I'm out on my walk and I need to keep the exercise up. As you know, we've all got to exercise, but I thought today's video I'd do something a little bit different and show you my local city, Adelaide, and then go through a part of Adelaide which has got a lot of historical homes in it. North Adelaide, which is very close to the CBD. So yeah, I'm going to walk around and I'm going to give you a bit of an idea on building developments in Adelaide over the last, 170 years. Some of the houses you'll look at today will be dating back to 1850s, 1860s. So yeah, let's do that. And welcome to Mike Travels. Thank you for coming along. Lefevre Terrace here, running through here, and parklands here, and the suburb of North Adelaide here, which is just on the perimeter of the Adelaide city centre. So this part of North Adelaide has a lot of these styles. Here's another one. Detached villa with a one big gable in the middle there with a bluestone front. Built in the mid-1880s by Adelaide jeweller Henry Steiner. Yeah, so coming up here on the right hand side on the corner, that's a Victorian era, 1880s. Now that possibly was one big mansion when it was built new, but as you can see with the dividing fence there, it's now two residences. With a bay window down the bottom, the balcony up the top. The balcony goes right around the front facade and then down the side here as well. And as you'll see, the white rendered bay window, that's rendered. And around the windows, they did the white render with the coin, checkered plate coin on the side of the building there. That's standard for that era. This is another one, the villa. So it's got the big gable at the front with a bullnose veranda on the front there. And that's a sandstone henpecked frontage. Now this is quite common too. So what we did here, there's a house being built, the residence here, and then years later this would have been a shop, a former shop and house. 1897, North Adelaide builder. So that's what they did back in those days. The shop would be on the front here with the front door, and the people would live behind it in the residential quarters. And now, of course, being 160 years later, 150 years later, you see the extension on the back. So a new extension up the top with the veranda and the garage at the back. So that's pretty common. Now, what have we got here? A whole lot of row cottages. Whole lot of row cottages there. There's one there, two, and three. No, they look like they could be rentals at the moment. So that's another thing. This is a row cottage, but as you can see, they've painted over the red brick coins and they've painted over the sandstone. So at some stage somebody will buy these and renovate them and bring them back to their original form, like this one has here. So this is an 1880s Victorian single-fronted bluestone residence. So it's kept all its features, the red brick coins around the front door, around the window, and bluestone front with a bullnose veranda there. And the same with this one across the road. Look how close to the footpath it is where it's been built. Obviously when these were built it would have been horse and cart, would have just come down a little narrow single lane dirt track here, and as the years have gone by the road got wider and the footpaths got wider, and now the house is almost on the, well, that's about a metre off the footpath. This is an old Adelaide grain store. It used to be a grain store, so this is very old stone, but that's been repointed. Yeah, it's another one, 1880s. Grain store in 1880s by Frederick Winter. Good example of Victorian service building. So when these buildings, when they built these back in the 1860s, 1880s, the stone would have all come from the Adelaide Hills. So as you can see, they've done the red brick coin here, and there's sandstone down each side of the house. So that's what they did. The sandstone was obviously readily available, and to tell you to build that house now with a stone front, solid stone blocks and solid stone blocks down the side would be very, very expensive. They just simply don't do it these days. It's too expensive. If they're going to build a reproduction one of these villas, they'll do the front with sandstone, but they won't do the sides. They'll just do that with normal brickwork. So that's a bakery there. That's been, see, as you can see, established 1925, but it's been rendered. All the brickwork's been rendered. Render and paint, that's what they do. Or that's what they have done over the last 60, 70 years because they think it's easier for upkeep, less maintenance. Now these here, these are like adjoined townhouses, but these are not old, right? Well, I'm not saying they're old, but these may be 30 years old, but they're reproductions. As you can see, this blue stone there, but that's not a true bluestone block. Now this one here, this is old, right? As you can see, it's bluestone down the side walls, same with this one here. Bluestone from top to bottom, and then a sandstony henpecked frontage on it, with an upstairs balcony and a bay window with a lacework. So that's beautiful. Yeah, that's these two here are very, very original, very kept in their original form. Now this is nice too. We're getting back to the red brick coins with the blue inserts, bluestone inserts. Local heritage places, these two. They're semi-detached, just single stories, but beautifully kept, with the little picket fence at the front. And once again, the perimeter of the building is right on the footpath. But that's been repointed with the black mortar, which I don't really like. It's a bit dark. It's a bit too black. But this is what happens. This is getting the weather. So as you can see, the water's getting into that and eroding the mortar. And unless these people do something, get that repointed, they'll have problems because the mortar will all remove itself and then the stones will become loose. Same with this one over the road. This is a sandstone, limestone. Different, and the mortar's not as bad, but there's got a bit of shows of wearing here. But what they've done here, they've rendered over part of it. The bottom section they've rendered because they've obviously had some sort of erosion like the house across the street there. So as a stonemason, like I have been for 34 years, I can see all the work that's needed. You've got to keep on top of these old places. Again, this is another bluestone. This is a single residence on its own piece of land, and at the back here the driveway would have been here, and they've done an extension at the back. But these are nice. These are little single fronted cottages on separated, so they're not attached. They're not attached, and that makes them more expensive, worth more money, because they're all individualised. And these have all been nicely restored. Across the road here we've got one under restoration now. So this is what happens, you can't knock them down, they're all local heritage listed. So they can't be removed, they can't knock the front down. You've got to keep the front, and you might be able to build extensions at the back. Or they gut them out inside and redo them, remodel them all inside with new kitchens, new bathrooms. And they're worth a lot of money if you keep the fronts like this. See, that's nice. This is, we've got back now to a detached here with the both residents. So this little street here has got a whole row of these. These are attached. Across the road they're not. We're back to sandstone here. I prefer the sandstone, the lighter look. But as you can see, these are not joined. This is a nice one, got a darker styled stone on that. But yeah, beautifully renovated, that one. Right, so what in the corner here, we've got a big piece of land with a big two-storey villa on it. See the big gable up there. Now I'll take you around the front. Yeah, so these are beautiful. These are prime Adelaide architecture, character homes. Big veranda at the, or balcony at the top, and lace work. That one's got the painted stone, hasn't been removed. You see this one's had the stone paintwork removed from the stone. So these were built in 1882. Fine example of the boom period residential development in North Adelaide. They're all slightly different paintwork. See how the different owners have gone for the slightly different colours. So we've got the red brick. Okay, so you've got a single level home, just basic plain red brick. So that's how they left it. Those people left it with red brick. These people have painted it white. So same style of house, just modernised with the black and white coloured treatment there. Now this is an interesting place too, because it's an old hotel. Very interesting. See the Southwark stout on the windows. It was called the Dover Castle Hotel. Local heritage place. So this is a red brick, and then they've done the stucco plaster over it. And this has been a private residence. So many years ago it was a hotel in the back streets of North Adelaide. And now it's been turned into a very prime piece of real estate. And that was the old parlour in there. They've kept the old signs on the windows. Yeah, beautiful. Dover Castle, 1850. Opened in 1850 September. He went bankrupt in December 1851, and there's a long family history there. In January 2000, it ceased trading as a hotel, and it was bought at auction by private people, turned into a private residence. Now this is quite common, what happens here. That's just been rendered. Okay, that's just like the fresh rendered look. 1852 that house was built. But they've gone away from just the stone or the red brick that was under it, and they've just rendered it and painted it white and given the features of the black windows, black door. So there's a fair bit of different styles in this street. You've gone for the rendered single story here, a more modern sandstone house there. And then you've got these here, which would not be that old, probably 40 years old maybe. And they're just brick townhouses joined together. So as you can see, they've kept the red brick coins around the windows and around the corners of the building, but instead of spending the money on the stonework, interior, inserts, they've just used a different coloured brick. So still nice piece of real estate in North Adelaide. However, it hasn't got the same character as the originals that you look at, which from the 1850s, 1880s. Here's another old one, just been painted over. Little single fronted cottage there. That's a nice example. Very solid old bluestone villa. Same again there. But North Adelaide's one of Adelaide's premier suburbs. As you can see, very wide roads, car parking, beautiful wide footpaths both sides. These I like too. Built in the 1870s. There's an old one that's just been sold. I wonder what that's sold for. So we're getting into bigger properties here on the larger piece of land with a much bigger two-storey house on it. And it looks like it's attached. Yes, I would say that was originally one house because it's attached to this property on the corner. So it's attached to this property. So it may have been subdivided and turned into two different allotments. But what makes North Adelaide so popular for owner-occupiers and investors is because you can get a bit of everything. You can get a bigger property on a bigger piece of land like this, or you can get your little cottages, little villas little masonettes, and then you've got the parklands completely around North Adelaide. North Adelaide sits right in the middle of parklands all the way around it, and the city centre itself is only a matter of minutes down the road, so it's always been popular, and it always will. A lot of these are local heritage listed, so you can't knock them down. All you can do is remove the insides and modernise them. So here we go now. We've got a very big example of a lovely two-storey villa with a bay nose, bull nose up the top there, and a bay window at the bottom. Two-storey bay window fronted residence, built in 1882, 1883. So that's a distinctive stonework there. It needs a little bit of TLC. So right up alongside that, they built these probably 30 years ago. So just a plain brown brick townhouses. So there's a lot of them there. And a lot of people would be saying, well, why are you allowing them to build brown brick townhouses right alongside of a beautiful old character home? But, well, when it was done, probably 30, 40 years ago, it was okay, but you'll always get a big backlash from the local residents when things like that happen. Now, this is something that I've never really been keen on. This is the original stone wall, sandstone, but as you can see, the walls of this house have had a stucco render treatment over it, which it was popular 40, 50 years ago, but it's not really popular now. These are reproduction bluestone attached, 2 stories. That is not a real stone, that's a slate veneer put on the front of those to make them look like a bluestone cottage. But that's a much cheaper and reproduction style of doing things, probably 30 years ago. We still build a lot of homes in Adelaide and probably around Australia with a sandstone or bluestone veneer. Instead of buying the big blocks that they did 100 years ago, it's much cheaper to build a house out of brick and put the stone veneer over the top of it. You can see it, you can tell it even if you're not a stonemason, people can tell the difference between a proper stone fronted house with large blocks like this one. The stone, that could be 120, 140 years old, but the stone's still in beautiful condition. Natural product, it'll last another 100 years. In actual fact, that one is 1869. So once again, there's the stone wall, Murray Street. The stone wall of the house is right on the primitive footpath. So this is slightly different. This has got a sandstone, we call this henpecked. It's got that clawing effect in it. And then it's got a bluestone down on the plinth area. So 2 different types of stone on the one wall. Now the bluestone there is the same problem. As you can see, it's starting to erode the mortar and it's falling on the ground. So those people who own that, they're going to have that repointed before it gets too much more erosion in it. Now we're back to the single little cottages again. Semi-detached cottages with stonework down both sides and stone front. Now that's been repointed. You can see the lines, the mortar's all very fresh. That looks very smart. This is a nice little street of cottages here. They're all got little joined together, 2 of them joined together. Front doors either side of the little fence there. So what have we got? We've got 1, 2, 3, we've got about 12 of them all together in this little area. All attached stone cottages. And so what they did when they were built, obviously when they were built, 1880s or 1870s, there was no cars. They would have had the horse and cart would have pulled up out the front, and then there was a laneway between each one. So they would have had parking in there. I don't know where they would have kept the horses, maybe at the back of stables. They might have had stables at the back. But then later on, when we get into the 20th century, they would have had to share this car park with their neighbour. Yeah, so you got that there. There's a little laneway where the horse and cart would have come to take all the waste away. They would have come down these laneways. Now this is a nice example, stone all the way around. Have a look at that. Stone on the back, eastern wall. Yeah, that's a lovely example of a character Adelaide villa. It's getting a bit dark for the camera there, but yeah, so yeah, I thought I'd take you around and show you a little bit of my home cities, character homes, and what Adelaide property looks like from 150 years, 170 years ago. Those of you may not know, but I'm a retired stonemason, so I've done a lot of work, restoration work on houses similar to what we've just looked at, and I've also done many new homes where I've put a stone front on them, a sandstone or bluestone front on them, to make them into a reproduction of these old ones. That's how, and I'll do a video one day on how I started my business and how I was taught by an English stonemason to do this type of thing and get that sort of look. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed a little brief walk around and having a look at some old houses. If you're interested in old character homes. Adelaide's had a lot of British stonemasons come here over the last 150 years who have introduced a lot of the old British style houses, cottages into Adelaide's residential landscape. And Adelaide, of course, is known as the stone capital of Australia. We have more character stone houses, like you've just seen, than any other city in Australia, because we've got the Adelaide Hills not far by where the quarries were. So back 150 years ago, it was easy for them to go up to the Adelaide Hills, get the stone, and then bring it down and build these homes with it. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.